Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Chips with Michael Pena. Honestly, when I first saw this movie, I saw it as a poster first. And I had no idea what to make of this, like, at all. Like, it's just called Chips, and the poster depicted Michael Pena and some other guy on motorcycles in LA. And I was like, what the hell does Chips mean? And then it had a tagline for it. I was like, oh, maybe the tagline will explain. So I look closer and it says, Chip happens. Is Chips their nickname? Is it like their gang? Well, no, they appear to be dressed as, like, police officers. I'm very confused. So yeah, I was confused enough, luckily, to decide to look it up, and apparently it's based on a TV show from the 80s, just involving these guys in the California Highway Patrol, which really annoys me, because the original show, they actually, like, showed the abbreviation correctly. It's capital CH, lowercase I, because, you know, California Highway, and then uppercase P for patrol, and then S, because it's California Highway Patrol, so they're a chip, and there's multiple, so it's Chips. That makes sense. This movie, all caps. This is the reboot. Yeah, the 2017 reboot. We can't have no lowercase letters in there, even if it doesn't make any sense. Gotta do it. Don't want people to be confused about this. So what is this for exactly? Is this meant to, like, appeal to people who are fans of the show? Or is this just, like, some people had this fun idea for an action movie? And also, why is it that there's two 80s shows getting a reboot on the same day? Are we really getting to that point where that's all there is? That's kind of weird. And, like, I know the Baywatch movie is coming out soon, and I'm wondering if this is something similar to that, or at least the way the Baywatch movie is being advertised as this, like, extremely over-the-top comedy series. Well, extremely over-the-top comedy movie based on a series that people will mildly remember, but it's doubtful most of the audience for the film has ever actually seen it. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect with this. Judging from the Wikipedia article, supposedly giant car pileups are a signature of the show, so I hope that's in there. That sounds fun. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't know, hope it's decent, hope it's kind of funny, I don't know, and let's see it. Oh wow. You know, this is what I was talking about with, like, other comedies and stuff, you know how I said, like, modern comedies, how they never are structured as movies first. They're always just a series of set pieces and just a loose plot thread connecting all of them. And how, like, comedies, or at least good comedies of the past, they were more like a story that has comedy elements to it. And that's what keeps you going along. This movie is probably the halfway point in between those. It has a decent story, not a very strong one, not a very understandable one, if I must say. Like, I was still kind of confused of, like, well, why is this character doing this again? Like, what is he trying to accomplish? I'm confused here. And and it also includes long scenes of, like, uninterrupted, like, toilet humor and, like, sex jokes and all that, and, like, which, you know, but like, I could still stand it. Like, it is, being in the midpoint between good and bad is still better than bad, if that makes any sense. I don't think it's mediocre either. There was a lot to like about this movie. The humor isn't necessarily for me in this film. As I said, a lot of just like gross out humor and stuff. Like, one of the earlier jokes we see is these two guys in their underwear are hugging each other, and we see their sacks smashed together. Yeah. So, if you're into that kind of humor, I guess that's for you. That's not my style, but as I said, it's structured a lot better than you'd find in like a Seth Rogen movie or something like that. Like, this actually does have a plot going on. It does have character building and stuff. It has the typical buddy cop type thing, although it kind of messes it up at points. But still, it's got structure at the very least. Not very strong structure, but structure. And that's all I can ask for, really. And what I mean by, like, it kind of messes up the buddy cop thing, the whole idea is that, like, normally one is more serious and the other is more goofy. But in this one, they alternate. Like, depending on scenario, which one is the goofy one and which one is the serious one. Which kind of, like, lowers that comedic threshold a bit. But I would still say it's better than most comedies, like, say, the Ghostbusters remake or most Adam Sandler films, in the fact that they are never, like, goofy and comedic and neither one serious in the same scene. At least most of the time. Like, one of them is the straight man in a given time, for the most part. Like, 90% of the time. Like, one guy will be, like just serious. Which is good comedy, just, like, you gotta be consistent about it. So, yeah, I'd say this is better than your average comedy, but it's no, like, War Dogs or, that movie with, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling from last year. It's not up to that level, but still better than average. I don't know how it goes in terms of the show. There was one big pile up at the beginning. Well, sort of big. It was like 4 or 5 cars, but not much. But you know what? I can't judge too much. I never saw the original show. Never even heard of it before this movie. So I am definitely not coming at this from the perspective of a fan, and I have no idea how you would feel about this movie. Considering it's like a cop show from the 70s, I doubt it had humor like this, so I can imagine you might, like, be horribly disgusted about it if you were a fan. But even then, I can't say. I don't know. I think the original actors make cameos in this. Like, in one scene, like pretty obvious cameos. Like, it's kind of like with Power Rangers, how there was, like, people behind me who reacted, and that's kind of how I knew. But even then, it's still pretty obvious. Like, you know, when one random, like, background character starts interacting with the scene a little too much, you can kind of get it. So yeah, I'd say, like, reasonably enjoyable, like, you know, entertaining enough. And yeah, I'd cautiously recommend it, but yeah, only if you have that kind of only if that kind of humor appeals to you, really. Anyone else, yeah, you probably won't enjoy this. So until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching a Dyer Situation.